to counter that Lolita Numnam Blast charge. They have literally everyone here. And because the Gusion is in mid, he has the Petrify too. So that's CC. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dive into game number 2. Into the land of Dawn here. As Onic Esports take on RRQ. Onic 1-0 currently, looking to make it 2-0 with their draft.
Their mid power spike is going to be so felt here for Onic Esports. RRQ Hoshi, they have to be careful. How are they going to do this? Should they play for the early game? Should they play for the late game? Because in that mid game, Onic Esports, they're just going to roll on RRQ Hoshi with their composition.
Definitely in the late game, I think. If you look at Onic Esports, they do very well in skirmishes, but in the 5v5, there's a lot of chance for RRQ Hoshi to go for a combo, to do a lot of damage. But in the early game, they have to be very, very careful. But Albert goes in aggressively. Keyboy is the main target, and he is forced to flicker away. RRQ Hoshi abusing the early game even before the ultimates are ready.
And this is due to that mid control. Gusion, not good. I mean, it's good clear, but not against Valentino, who can just bully you away from this wave.
I think that's the idea of why it was paired with a Cho in that mid lane. But even then, you need to be able to wait for that level 4, I feel, and not be able to do too much of a risky play here in that mid side. As right now, both teams are going to start centering around this turtle. 20 seconds left on the clock. Keyboy still level 2, so I'm not going to expect any crazy plays from Onic Esports at this point.
I think the mid game with a bit more items is where they're going to try and make plays happen. And for sure, I assume that they're going to avoid big fights and go for the skirmishes. But looking at the talent predictions by Axe, only one RRQ vote in both English and Indonesian desks.
I actually predicted Onic,
Oh, okay.
to be honest, so...
Only one.
So, only one, all right? If we take it correctly, that means OG, Ranger Moss, is the only one who went for RRQ. Onic Esports, once again, going for this neutral objective. Kyrie to be stunned up here, as the Numnam Blast will be charged in. The flicker as well, Kyrie to be caught. First blood over to RRQ. The crowd erupts. Presented to you by Samsung Galaxy A Series 5G. The turtle going to be targeted here by RRQ now, and Onic Esports are going to be forced to back away. And this is where it's going to be disastrous for Onic, remember. Because, guess what? It's a snowball composition for Onic Esports. If they don't get that lead early on, if it's instead RRQ who gets the lead with their multi-dimensional draft, it's going to be tough for Onic.
It is, especially even in the lane, right? Bruno versus someone like Claude. Bruno is going to have a really good game in that early. I think his base damage is already super high, even before items. And going against someone like the Claude who needs those items to scale, in the late game, if Bruno doesn't get that early lead, it's going to be very difficult. As in the top side here, R7 is going to be taken down here in a 2v1 situation. And Onic Esports starting to look for some compensation on the board.
Let's see in that bottom side with the Dragon. Going to be popped there, stolen away by Clay. Gets another kill. And RRQ, they're really utilizing this pick potential now in this game. Onic Esports were able to find a trade up top. And unfortunately for Onic, that's not the winning lane they were looking to play for, because the Bruno so far isn't able to really bully that Claude. The Claude has been free farming here. Remember, he also has the Avarice, so if they trade equally like this, Skylar will definitely have a massive gold lead if it keeps on building, Arashi.
And usually, right, the team that has their gold laner ahead gets a bit more of an advantage in that mid game, because right now in the current meta, that gold lane marksman usually is the primary source of damage. So RRQ Hoshi pressuring really well on all facets of the map, and also making sure that Skylar is not shut down like in game number 1. That might be exactly the win condition that they need, because Skylar has shown that he is absolutely scary if he gets ahead. Silence now picks up the Genius one, so lower cooldown. We'll see how much pickoff he can do though, because ooh, RRQ!
Another pick here. RRQ, so far, just out-rotating Onic Esports early on. And again, this is a massive question mark to Onic Esports, who have, well, on paper, should have that early game power. The Bruno wasn't able to bully the Claude, and right now, you can see even in the XP department, it's RRQ winning. Sans though, doing the damage onto Vin. That's a roamer right now as he's trying to funnel the gold in onto CW. The shield comes up, the turtle's taken away, the shield as well. Oh my goodness, Vin is able to get out. That's one more shot by CW though. Finally able to get it, but look at the collapse from both Skylar and Albert. Executes.
At what cost, right? 2-for-1 trade here for RRQ Hoshi, as their snowball completely just obliterated here, taken away. Kyrie still able to get that buff though, as there is going to be some compensation on the board as Sans. Skylar still able to outmaneuver him, and Sans now is caught in a bad situation. Another pickoff for RRQ Hoshi. A wiped out for Onic Esports for any hope in that early game, Snowball.
And Albert just grabbing up the kills like you can get grab food using the promo code grb.to/MPL. Scan the barcode if you're too lazy to type it in, because this game is absolutely insane as Albert is just styling on everyone. Onic Esports getting baited into a lot of situations, spending a lot of time chasing for kills that allows RRQ Hoshi to collapse and punish the overextension. RRQ Hoshi taking a lead right here with a 2.6 gold lead.
Again, RRQ are finding momentum in game 2 instead of 1 like they usually do. Onic Esports now are in trouble. Albert is snowballing, and he definitely used the axe effect earlier. Vin jumps in, stunning Keyboy up. Keyboy looking for away the dragon, bringing Vin back though. Sans with the petrify as well. Vin gonna be taken down. Keyboy is the one who picks up the kill though. Kyrie jumps in once again onto Clay, who's gonna be forced to back up. Has the way the dragon to disengage. Skylar still as well. Lethal counter popped in. Skylar has the blazing duet. He's gonna pop it right now as he jumps into the back line and dealing so much damage there. He's gonna be able to zone the other members away. Albert with the play. TW deleted. The class from Albert in game 2. R7 winning in the lane against Boots as well. 3.7k over to the defending Season 9 champions.
Albert is sitting at 4-0-3 here in the 7th minute, and he's a level ahead of Kyrie at this point. RRQ Hoshi gonna shift their focus now on the neutral objective, taking this turtle, and this is gonna be the 3rd turtle of the game where Onic Esports has not been able to obtain a single thing on the map other than those 3 kills.
Vin! Oh my goodness, when Keyboy cancels it out, it's not enough though. Keyboy gonna be locked down, and Albert picks up the double. Holy Vin! That engage just out of nowhere, no one expected that.
This is exactly what we need to see from Vin. And as you mentioned, the Lolita, when it's ahead, it does a lot of damage, and it has very dynamic, surprising engages that Onic Esports has to constantly worry about, on top of the fact that everyone else is just making dynamic moves around the map, especially Albert. Now they are forced to ration out their crowd control, because if they don't save some for Albert, you already see the damage he's doing right now. And with the Malefic Roar, even the preliminary physical defense items that Onic Esports has been able to pick up will be ignored completely.
Yeah, no ordinary Lancelot. 6 times picked up and an 83% win rate. And it shows unreflected as he goes on to Keyboy with a godlike, and there you go.
He's not stopping. He's on to Boots now, and that's going to be the kill. Albert, what the heck? 8-0-3. 8 minutes in, he's picked up 8 kills. The man has 8 kills per minute as the Lancelot. He's absolutely styling right now. And he's looking for that bottom side and the purple buff steal as well. Onic are not having a good game here. Item build, Arashi.
Lancelot, Albert on the Lancelot, no War Axe right now. Hunter Strike into the Malefic War, understanding that they are tanky members like the Paquito, like the Cho, and the Balmon on the side of Onic Esports. So he wants to make sure that those guys get deleted as well. And you saw the result. Kyrie, Boots, Keyboy, no one is safe from the damage of Albert right now. But of course, that's for now only. You already see the Antikyras being built by Boots, respecting that potential damage. But now you have to really feel for CW on that Bruno. Very few outplay tools, very few mobility options, and Albert being the one with 8 kills right now. Your life is forfeit, man.
But interestingly enough, it's always CW being able to do this, right? Even though he's so far behind in total, he's still able to kind of level Skylar in that gold lane, as RRQ Hoshi very easily going to be able to get that lowered. And this is looking bleak for Onic Esports.
You see, that will usually be good for CW because he's usually on a scaling hero.
But this time he's not.
This time he's not. Sure, Bruno does damage in the late game, obviously. He has a lot of damage in that late game, but what you really want to do on the Bruno is snowball. In the early game, that's when you have the most strength, right? You can absolutely dominate your lane. But again, Onic Esports did not opt to go for that bottom side gank. Boots, wow, he's just going to be taken down there. That was all the single target. Clay stole Keyboy's ult. Oh no, that's okay, Albert actually. I thought it was gonna be Vin who gets popped at the Doom, and now Blast comes in, and Skylar jumps in with a blazing duet. It's a triple kill for Clay. CW now in the midst. The Star 7 flickers forward. Clay with the Maniac. Clay with the Savage. No, Keyboy gets down. That's the Savage for RRQ! The first Savage in Season 10 is on a mid laner. It's a wipeout by Head & Shoulders. RRQ, my goodness.
Clay. We talked about him before this game started, but we did not expect that kind of performance. Clay, the person who is always in the back line, being able to get a Savage on the Valentina here. The first Savage of MPL ID Season 10 in the playoffs against a team as strong as Onic Esports. Wow, I am at a loss for words. RRQ Hoshi now, 8,000 gold lead in the plays that Clay could make. What can Onic Esports do at this point?
You'd expect a gold laner or a jungler to get the first Savage in the season, Arashi. Clay.
It's Clay on that Valentina. We talked about how flexible, how dynamic this player is right now. So much improvement. And now that begs the question, what is Onic supposed to do? They take out Albert, and then they get absolutely wiped out. So how mobile, how aggressive RRQ can play, Onic Esports, they can't even afford to use all their resources to take out one person because RRQ Hoshi will absolutely strike back. And if you take out Albert, Clay is now 7-0-7 as well. He has more than enough damage. And of course, Skylar is still scaling like a monster. Onic Esports at a loss.
So tough at this point, right? Onic Esports, they don't have much high ground as well to defend this. 8,000 gold lead and counting. Skylar already with a Wind of Nature, so he can go in, use a Blazing Duet, and just not receive any damage, perhaps, from Onic Esports.
Maybe Sans will be the one that can change that, depending on the situation. But Onic Esports, they need to ration out their spells. As we mentioned, they require some crowd control for Albert, now some for Clay as well as for Vin. And if they're a bit too careless, Skylar will come into the Blazing Duet. So they need Sans maybe to try and deal damage to him, because with the Wind of Nature, everyone else is going to take way too long for them to take him out. And with that in mind, with Onic Esports zoned away, RRQ Hoshi take a free Lord, 8k gold lead.
Deja vu, but it's on a different team here for RRQ. Clay looking for that play. Sans is forced to use the ultimate defensively. And when you're on a Gushin, that just shows that your composition and just you in general, you've been outscaled. 9,000 gold lead for the team that should have the hold in the late game or in the mid game. Definitely not the early full like this.
No, it didn't work out. The composition that Onic Esports brought, unfortunately, it did not work out. And now RRQ Hoshi in the 13th minute with a 10,000 gold lead, approximately one item ahead of each of the members from RRQ Hoshi. And now they're going to look for the final siege.
Well, we'll see once again, as that's the enhanced Lord. RRQ can definitely look for a wipe here, but if Onic Esports are able to micromanage properly with their CC and their damage, they should be able to defend it for now. Lord going to be cleared in the mid lane. RRQ don't care. They're going to go for that bottom side, taking it out. R7, the shot of damage there as the Numenor Blast will not connect onto anyone. That's a massive restore of the Flicker as well. Onic Esports they're going to play, but it's going to be the taunt coming in. Now the damage as well. That's going to be Sans taken down. Boots in the midst as well. Lethal counter over just to get the immortality, and look at the damage everywhere onto the Onic Esports members. CW is the only one left, and RRQ equalize in game number 2.
1-1 now, as Onic Esports were able to get that really dominant game in game number 1, but it instantly Uno card from RRQ Hoshi in game